FY24 has been, has been good for us. We met all our financial metrics and targets that we had set for ourselves in the AOP. We grew about 20% over the previous year. And this year will be about very steep growth. But ultimately, it is not growth for growth's sake. You need to have a bottom line that justifies the investments being made. So we are also looking parallelly at a transformation program, which means that we keep a laser focus on the cost side of things. This is something that has, we've been obsessive about. While we unlock the synergy benefits of, bringing two organizations together and also being a part of a larger Air India group. So this year, FY25, we will see a lot of those synergies start unlocking. The market is going to keep growing, that's our estimate. But perhaps the capacity growth is going to be, in the short term, a little faster than the market growth. We continue to be focused on the bottom line. So it is not necessarily about low prices. It is not necessarily about competing on price. It's about value. Also, coming from a group perspective, we are building a network in such a way that there will be significant cross feeds between the Air India long haul network and the domestic India short haul. So that's the way we look at the what was traditionally called the LCC model. Perhaps it is evolving, it is changing, because we are all talking about a loyalty product. We are all talking about apart from ancillaries, there's such a great deal of connecting flows, not just between the LCC entity and the the Air India full service product, but also within our own network. So that's how we look at the business as it is evolving. AirAsia India, the erstwhile AirAsia India was was subscale, and that was a large part of the problem when it came to the bottom line. Air India Express was unique in the sense that it was a small airline, but it was profitable because it was in a niche. But neither business models were sustainable in the long run. So, it's a no-brainer that both the organizations, had they stayed independent, would have had to grow. When we are bringing these two organizations together, the footprint is now pan-India. We are looking at the regional short-haul international market in a more holistic way. The network is better balanced. It is not about, it is not, you're trying to diversify the network instead of, focusing on, a narrow set of routes or, just one customer segment. So that's the challenge, and add to that is the growth. I think it was important to, time the two together rather than just simply transition from one brand to an old brand and then do a rebranding later on. It was important from the employee perspective because, bear in mind that AirAsia India employees were very passionate about the brand that was there in the market. They worked hard to build that brand. And there was a culture, a DNA for that brand. So it was important for everybody to transition into something new, which represented a bit of both, and it represented what the new India was about. The interesting thing is that we did the brand launch, the new brand launch in October. We haven't done any mass media, large-scale branding exercise deliberately. But the fact is that the brand, punches its weight way above its weight. People recognize the brand. People, have an affinity to that brand. So that speaks for, what the brand has achieved despite spending nothing on it. The fundamental thing is that we have to get our hubs back in the country. All I want to add is that, a bilateral is akin to a trade agreement. And at least in the short term, any trade agreement has to work for, both the parties. This is a bilateral, so it is between two parties. It has to work for both. It has to be resting on reciprocity, balance of benefits. In the short term, we don't see that for India as a country. The network plan that we have built for the next 5 years is assuming that the bilaterals stay where they are. We have substantial growth coming in, and we are still going to maintain broadly the split of capacity that we deploy between domestic and international. So there is enough opportunity even within what we have got. ASEAN is, in a sense, open skies. The SAARC countries are fairly open. Saudi Arabia has a fairly large, entitlement. It has its own triggers built in. So for the short term, for the next 5 years, we don't see the rights as something that will impede our growth. In a steady state, this is inherently profitable. The benefits of scale are playing out. The synergies are becoming quite apparent to us. So when we do strategic procurement at a group level, we are able to get, costs that wouldn't have been possible if, the two entities were going out procuring on their own. And what are the big pieces? There's the engineering piece, there is the ground handling piece. So these will, being a part of a larger group, we will be able to, rationalize the costs, the cost side of things. With the network synergies that we are building, there's a significant upside on the revenue side because of cross feeds, between the two networks. And keeping a close watch on the cost structure itself. I think these are the fundamental elements of being profitable. And of course, let me also mention that now that we are getting the new fleet coming in, the biggest part of the cost is fuel. With the fuel efficiency showing up, and with the type of network that we operate, which leverages on this efficiency, there's going to be a significant upside both on the cost side and on the revenue side. It is not just two companies coming together. We have as many people coming in from outside. So you had 2,000, 2,500 people from the two entities, and then you have another 2,500 people who have joined in the last 6-8 months. So it is putting us in a very unique position where we can pick from elements of the culture of two organizations that we need to protect and preserve, and also build on the culture that we need for the organization of tomorrow.
Tell me, is it practically easier to do Air India Express, Air Asia India outside, growing at 40%, and still wanting to get a very unified and cohesive culture? How difficult is it in practical terms?
Of course, it's challenging, but I think it is doable, and it is again largely because of the unique set of people that are coming together in both the organizations. And we have a very young workforce. It is the average age is probably under 30, and these are people who are the future leaders of the company, and it's a very remarkable set of people, and this is where my confidence comes from. when we are seeing the market consolidate, we are seeing players with strong balance sheets, well capitalized, with a long-term view of the market. So that's good for the industry. So there is going to be intense competition, right? But there is also going to be players with skin in the game, players with a long-term interest in the market. And look, the market is large enough. The India market is large enough to support just about everybody who's there today.